everybody, how you all doing? Peter Carvalho, and today I'm going to show you a great recipe that's going to allow you to make healthy fries right there at home. Now today's recipe is healthy because of three reasons. Number one, we use sweet potato instead of normal potatoes. The way we cook it is going to be different than normal deep frying it as you would get with normal fries. And thirdly is the spices we're going to put into it, because that really gives these potatoes and these fries a great taste. Now I actually tried to make these sweet potato fries a few years ago, gave up after a few months because everything I did just tasted awful, it was raw, just didn't work. Then a few months ago I decided to give it another go. Tried literally hundreds of recipes, and when I came across this one, bang, it tasted absolutely amazing. It was easy to make, it was simple, and most importantly, it was still extremely healthy. So healthy, in fact, that you can make this a regular part of your balanced meals as part of your carbohydrates portions. Now, just one word of caution, these things are extremely tasty, so you can pretty easily get addicted to it and start eating and don't stop. And because it's complex carbs, if you eat too much of it, it can still hinder your results. So make just enough for what you need for that specific day. As always, let's get going by looking at the ingredients. Now, before we even get going with the ingredients, make sure you put your oven onto 200 degrees Celsius. That's about 400 Fahrenheit. And I think it's gas mark number 6 or number 7, because your oven will take a little bit of time to heat up to that temperature. Okay. So while that gets preheated, let's look at ingredients. Now I've got 3 medium-sized sweet potatoes, and these are the white potatoes, not the red ones or the yams. And depending on your portion sizes, obviously that will differ. This is for me about 2 portions. Then we've got our spices, which makes really the difference to all of this. For a bit of kick, we've got cayenne pepper, and that might even help increase your metabolism just slightly. Then we've got ground cinnamon, great for also, because we're going to add a lot of, or eat a lot of carbs here, it's great for regulating your sugar level and your insulin level. And then we also have some salt. We're going to add a very small amount of that, and then some very healthy olive oil. So let's get going, and the first thing I always do is wash my sweet potatoes. And the first thing we're going to do once we've washed it is, let's just move this out of the way until we need it, is we're going to get the skin off. And you want the skin off because once you put this into the oven to bake, the skin will actually burn, and that gives it a bad taste, and we don't want that. So you basically get your potato peeler, and I've got one of these babies, and then all you do is just get rid of the skin. Won't let you watch me do all of this, so that's basically what you do, and I'm going to do it with all 3 of the sweet potatoes. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I actually just like to get my samurai knife out and then just cut off the edges like that. That's why I didn't peel it, and I will do that for all of them. And the reason for that is because of what we're going to do next, and that is sticking it in our potato cutter, and if it's too long, it won't fit in. Okay, so that's all done. Now what I'm going to do is grab my potato cutter, and then we cut these babies into really thin fries, which seems to be one of the secrets, because previously I cut it nice and thick because I like thick fries, and it never seemed to work. So let me grab the cutter, and let's just get rid of this quickly. Might be a little bit dangerous. And then all you're going to do right now is you're going to put these babies in here one by one. Make sure that your cutter is tied down. Stick it in there, and then you're just going to squeeze it through. There we go. And what you get is really nice, as you can see here, really nice thin fries. So let me quickly put all 3 of them through here. And now I'm going to put all of this into a bowl, just so that we can get it all together and spice it properly, which is the next step. And then what you can do is you can take your olive oil, put all the spices into a little bowl, mix it all together, and then drizzle it over here. But what I'm going to do today is what I normally do, because I've done it a few times, is I'm just going to put it straight over here. You're looking at about 1 teaspoon of olive oil, and then about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of each one of the spices. So let's get started with the olive oil. So I'm just going to drizzle this over there. Let's make sure you've got a nice bit. Once again, not too much. Then we're just going to take the cayenne pepper, just drizzle that over there. A little bit of ground cinnamon. That really makes it smell absolutely amazing as well once it goes into the oven. And then there's a couple of turns of salt, and then get your hands in there and get it all mixed up. You want to make sure every single sweet potato fry in here has some oil on it, because that's going to help the spices stick to it, and that's going to give it a great taste and flavor later on. And then what you've got is this really all nicely mixed up, and you can see all the spices sticking to all the sweet potato. And all you do from here now is we're going to start sticking it into the oven. So the first thing you do is grab your baking tray. I've got a nice big one here, and then just throw all the sweet potato fries in here and then space them properly. And what you want to make sure is, you don't want any of them to touch, so just space them, make sure none of them is touching anybody. And that looks good to me. All you're going to do now is stick it in the oven that's been pre-warmed to 200 degrees Celsius, about 400 Fahrenheit, for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, we're going to take them out, turn them over quickly, and put them back in for another 10 minutes, and then they should be ready to eat. Let's get going. Okay, so that's now been cooked for another 10 minutes, and what you don't see or can't experience, the smell, the cinnamon and the cayenne pepper and everything just comes together and give it a great smell as well. You just want to start eating. All we're going to do now is add this into a little plate. Make sure this is still extremely hot, so use a cloth to help you there. There we go. And they are nice and crispy. Some of them a little bit burnt, but that's just because the oven was quite hot, and that's one of the secrets, so don't worry about that too much. There we go. And you'll want to get every single one out of here, because you don't want to miss any of these babies. Okay, there we go. And that is your sweet potato fries all done. And the great part about it is that it's so nice and tasty. You get a cinnamon, you get a cayenne pepper, a little bit of salt, and then obviously the sweetness of the sweet potato itself, that you don't need any other sauces to really enjoy this. But remember, this is just complex carbs, so you will now add this to your chicken or steak or anything like that to make up a good balanced meal, and then add some veggies and some salads. So this is not a complete meal that you're just now going to go and pig out on lots of carbs. Don't do that unless you want to carb up for something specific. Otherwise, this is the carb portion of a complete meal, but it's damn tasty. It's extremely healthy. As you've seen, the ingredients, you can't be unhealthy because there wasn't anything unhealthy to start off with. So really nice, extremely tasty, and I'll be adding this to chicken today and a nice bit of salad. Until next time, guys, go try this. It's better than normal fries. Bye-bye.